What's up, guys? Neil Orfield here to talk a little Sorare NBA for this upcoming slate starting tonight. This will be the Monday through Thursday slate. While you're coming in, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification button so you can get alerts when our shows go live. By the way, today we are launching the Odd Shopper betting show. It is the debut today at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're into betting, join Lofty, Ben, Greg, Eric, Aton, and all the regular guys as they break down the night's best bets using premium Odd Shopper tools and data. That show will be Monday through Friday going forward again at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Definitely check that out today if you're into betting. All right, on to Sorare. Stochastic is excited to be an authorized partner of Sorare and one of the first places you will find a bonus offer for Sorare NBA. Sign up for a new Sorare NBA account using our link, and you'll get one free limited card after completing your first 5-card purchases on the primary market. Limited cards are typically purchased in the marketplace or won as a reward for high placement in tournaments and help unlock the ability to participate in different tournaments. Getting a free limited card is a massive perk for signing up. These are the contests that I'm playing. The limited contests, I find them to be a lot of fun. So getting a free card is pretty nice. The limited cards are one of 5,000 tracked on the Ethereum blockchain, so you'll always know exactly how many cards are in circulation. In addition to getting a free limited card by signing up through Stochastic, you can also find great Sorare projections on Stochastic, and that's what I want to talk about in this video. I've had a lot of success using these stochastic projections, and honestly, not really using any kind of game theory or anything here like I am in DFS. Usually, you have to make a lot of decisions based around ownership, things like that. I haven't really found that to be the case just yet in Sorare. And part of that might be that, people are making lineups just with the cards they have. They're not buying anything new. So a lot of the lineups are just not going to be very good in the contest. But I also think a lot of people who are trying are just not using any kind of great projections. It's kind of hard to project out, particularly in a slate where we have multiple games. And I've talked with Alex Baker, so I'll show you our projections right now. So we actually have projections, and I talked with Alex. Our projection is for the player's better game in the time period. So you can see all of these players have 2 games, looks like across the board, except for apparently the Sixers have 3. Maybe there's a couple games for 3, but most of these teams just have 2 games in this period. And our projection is based on the higher projection that we're expecting from a player in that period. Not a lot of people are going to be able to project out multiple games out into the week. So kind of a big advantage to be able to use a projection that is based on the player's higher score during that game. So I really think that it is useful to use our projections, and would definitely recommend it. The contest I've been playing is the limited champion contest, and then I've been throwing in a limited contender as well, just because I've got leftover cards, and sometimes sometimes I have multiple cards that I think are projecting pretty well. So I usually play both of these, and then I'll throw in common as well, just because I have a bunch of common cards. So those are pretty fun contests. And if you haven't played Sorare NBA yet, basically how it works is this 120, this column right here, the cap is essentially the salary cap, but rather than having salaries, the players each have a last 10 average. So the salary is essentially just the players average score over their past 10 games. And you can see, if you look at the cards, I'll show you mine. Like Anthony Edwards here has where is it? Or sorry, this is James Wiseman. Kevin. Okay, so yeah, that's why I'm screwed up. I'm not looking at Anthony Edwards. James Wiseman here has a last 10 average of 13. Kevin Love has a last 10 average of 13. DeMar DeRozan 33, etc. So you can see right on the card what the last 10 average is for each player. And then you have to, when you're playing the actual events, those last 10 averages essentially is the player's salary. And in the limited champion contest, you have a salary cap of 120. So some of the higher players will have last 10 averages of 50, 55, somewhere in that range. However, in the limited champion contest, you have one MVP spot, and it's just whoever you put in your lineup who has the highest last 10 average will automatically be the MVP, and they don't count against that cap. So essentially you have to put in your highest player, and then your next 4 have to have a last 10 average averaging 30 or fewer. It's a pretty fun way to play. So you can see those last 10 averages are essentially the salary cap. But I'll show you my plan for this week, and it's going to be the same as it has been. If you've watched these videos in the past, I really like playing a stars and scrubsy kind of approach here. I think that is the best approach. And I start by looking at the projection and Joel Embiid. So if you are playing this optimally, you would buy a Joel Embiid, throw him into your lineup. I'm not playing it quite optimally in that I'm not always going out and buying a new card if I have some that are good enough. And here I have a Luca already. I've got an Anthony Davis already and a LaMelo already. So three of the highest projected players on the slate. The reason that playing the Joel Embiid would be optimal, even though he doesn't have as great of a value score as some of these other guys, is that again you can throw him into that MVP spot. The value doesn't come into play. The last 10 average doesn't matter at all. So you really just want the highest projected player you can get in that MVP spot if you are playing optimally. But after that, so I start just looking at, okay, who do I have? Who do I want to play among the highest projected guys? And I think I can make a pretty good lineup here with all three of those guys, Luca, Anthony Davis, and LaMelo Ball. So LaMelo Ball will be my MVP here with the last 10 average of 50. So then the counting players against my cap will be Luca and Anthony Davis, and they take up a total of 94 of my 120. So that just leaves me 26 points left over. So I've got to find some value. So if I'm making a nice lineup, I can start with those three: Luca, Anthony Davis, LaMelo. They're among the both Luca and Anthony Davis, the two who are not in the MVP spot, are among the best values on the slate anyway. So I'll show you that value column. And as I said, you can see right at the top here, Anthony Davis, Luca among the higher values anyway. So I've already got them. They're high values. They have high projections. So I can fit those three into my lineup. And then I have 26 points left over. And this works out really nicely for me because I can see right away here at the top, Kevin Love, James Wiseman both have last an average of 13, and there are two highest values on the board. So the lineup actually is pretty easy for me to make today. And I went out and I already bought a Kevin Love and a James Wiseman just because that's clearly going to be the best lineup that I can do. And, they're fairly inexpensive. I can sell some of my other value cards to buy these ones. So that's a pretty easy way for me to make a lineup. But if you wanted to actually play the optimal way, where you're playing Joel Embiid, throwing him in there, he's got a little bit higher of a last 10 average than any of these other guys. So again, that won't count against your cap. But if you want to play your Damian Lillards in there, maybe you want to play it slightly different than I do, and maybe you do want to incorporate some game theory. I still think it makes a lot of sense to just look at these value guys, and Justin Holiday makes a lot of sense. Last 10 average of 6, and if you're trying to play this on the cheap, I think that he's a great way to get started, just because buy him. His last 7 limited sales have been right around under $8, so relatively inexpensive, and you right away get a nice value, 14-point value gap between his last 10 average of 6 and his projection of 20. He looks really nice. Charles Bassey, similarly, last 10 average of 10, projection of nearly 24, and you can get that one for around $12. So we've got some nice values here to work with, and that's generally going to be my approach, just finding some of the players who project the best, and from there just looking for some great values. And these projections are really useful for finding those. Jonas Valanciunas, actually, I think that's a really interesting one because that one's only under $17. He's got a last 10 average of 25. We've got him projected for 36, but honestly, I was looking at it. We've only got him projected for around 27 minutes, 28 minutes tonight. And his last 2 games, 29 and 31. So I think there's actually a little bit of meat on the bone potentially. We didn't want to, give him a huge minutes projection, but I think there's at least potential for Jonas to see a couple extra minutes in just one of those games. And this is going to look even meatier, and it's again under $17 to buy that. So I think that's a good buy right there. But yeah, that's going to be my general. What's Jakob Pertl? Last 10 average of 28, projection of 38. Okay, so we've got some nice values here, and there's no positionality or anything. So it's really a simple game here. You're just playing players who project well, and then finding the best values to fit within that structure of 120 points. And as I said, it works out really nicely for me that I already have the expensive pieces, the Doncic, Anthony Davis, and LaMelo Ball, and then you can just go out once you've got those. It's pretty cheap week to week to just reuse your expensive guys and shuffle in some of these value guys, and that's been an approach that works for me. And I think if you're willing to make an investment of like $1,500, you can play this game the entire year. You can sell one card to buy another, shuffle in some of these values throughout the year, and just hold on to some of those guys who project the best. These being kind of the main guys up here at the top, I guess, all the way down here, Giannis and and Jokic don't project quite as well this week. But in general, these are going to be the kinds of guys that you want to have. You just want to have one real stud in the MVP spot, and then hopefully, find some other nice values. And really, it's not that expensive to play optimally here. So if you're willing to make a little bit of investment, I really think you can make some great lineups and continue to win week to week. And I haven't. I've only had 1 week or one period. So it's 2 times per week. And I've probably played 8 or 9 at this point, and I've only had one where I did not win a reward, and that was because I forgot to set my lineup until like right before lock, and it was on a show. So I just used the cards I had, didn't really pay attention to projections, did the best I could, and that didn't work out. But pay attention to the so rare projections on Stochastic, and you're going to make some nice lineups. Not going to open these rewards just yet because I'm about to go live with Greg, and I'm going to open those on that show. But that's going to be my general approach to so rare. Stars and scrubs, use these stochastic projections to find the best value, and it's going to work out for you more often than not. So hope you can use a similar strategy, have some luck, win one of these tournaments. Good luck. See you around.